Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Monday Live with Alan and Greg. And today we got Jack at Spread Book Joy coming
Hi.
to us from somewhere in England.
I was going to say London because I lived in London for so long, but I'm not in London. I'm in Devon, which is, if you're familiar with UK geography, it's the southwest. Like right at the little boot that sticks out at the bottom is Devon and Cornwall. It's like, well, this way actually, I suppose. And yeah, it's right down there basically. Yeah.
Now, would that be considered a commuting spot to London or?
No, not quite. I mean, people do. They don't commute every day. So I go back to London frequently. I wanted to be within like 2 to 3 hours of London because my family is still there. My parents are getting quite elderly. So you can get back to London from the main sort of one of the main cities here, Exeter, between 2 and a 2.5 hour journey on the train.
Oh, yeah.
For driving, it's about, I mean, on a good journey to drive, it's 3.5 hours or so. But mainly with the traffic, it can be about 5, 6.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started in traffic in my area. I live about 50 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Okay, yeah. So you know all about traffic, yeah.
Well, it's a somewhat commuting town.
Right.
There are some people who now have to commute every day, but and we have a train. It's about an hour and a half by the train, so it's not horrendous if you have to commute it. But I like me being, retired and not.
You don't have to.
I don't have to.
Not a concern for you, no.
The train is kind of cool though. It goes through Quantico. If you've ever seen that, like FBI headquarters, and on the way from Fredericksburg to DC. And I don't drive, so I live in Portland where we take trains and streetcars and
amazing.
I don't.
I didn't drive until my 30s. I'm a Londoner, and you don't need to drive in London. Like, in fact, you're probably better off not driving in London. And so I didn't pass my driving test until I was 30. I think I was 32, 33.
Okay.
You take the tube over there, right?
The tube, the bus. I mean, I have to say, people complain about the transport, but the transport in London is phenomenally good, right? And I know that having left London, the transport in London is amazing. And so when people go on holiday over to London, like, you do not need like a car. And a big tip I gave to Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot. She was over here from in London, and I went to see her, and she's such a lovely woman. And she so we're talking about like going on the tube and everything else. London is such a city now where, if you've got a contactless payment card, that's all you need to travel around London. You just tap on the buses, you tap on the tube, and people, you see tourists queuing up to buy tickets, and the tickets cost more. So there's your tip. You go to London, like, just use your contactless payment card. And if you get on a bus,
any kind of credit card, debit card,
anything, your phone, you can tap with your phone to get on the tube, get on the bus.
That's
really cool. And so and it's far cheaper than buying a ticket, like a physical ticket. And it's also, if you get on London buses, this is such a nerdy thing to say, but if you ever come to London, this is a good tourist tip. If you get on a London bus, it costs, I can't remember how much it costs now, but you can get on as many London buses as you like within an hour for that price. So yeah, it's pretty good.
I do want to get to London someday.
Have you never been there? Never been to London?
I've been to England, but I was in high school.
Okay.
So, we didn't make it to London. I don't really like to count travel when I was a kid because you're a kid, and what do you know?
Yeah.
So let me get some of the people in the chat room. Hello, Pat.
Hi, Pat.
Yeah.
I hope you see Pat over here at some point.
We got Nick.
Hi.
Williams. Oh, he's in the Netherlands. Lucky you.
Hi, William.
Lee's here. Hello, Lee.
Hello.
Lee.
Greg, Ghost Readers in the Sky. I know. I mean, you were talking about Ms. Reads a lot, and I have not seen her post anything in a long, long time.
Yeah, she's not been on for a while. I did check up on her. She's good. She's okay. She just took an indeterminate break and then just hasn't come back. But life is busy, I think. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I used to live right near her but I was in the process of moving at the time because we started our BookTube channel about the same time.
So thinking about American geography, so she's in the Pacific Northwest.
She's in the Pacific Northwest, basically outside of Seattle.
Right. Yes.
She was north of Seattle. I was south of Seattle.
And so you did a big move then, really, did you?
I did a huge move in
right across. If my geography,
whole United States.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot.
All those books.
Yeah.
All the books.
How many boxes? 52?
52 or 54. It's like,
yeah.
I think maybe it wasn't worth it, but
It's always worth it. See, I thought it was a big move for me. I mean, really, it's nothing. English distances are nothing compared to America. So I moved probably, I don't know, 200 and something miles, and it feels like forever to me. Like I've moved miles away from, because England's very small.
It is, and I was reading a science fiction book about the European science fiction, and the editor made this comment that I remember this comment more than the stories.
Yeah.
That in the U.S., 100 years is considered a long time.
Oh, right.
And in England, 100 miles is considered a long distance.
That's exactly right. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah. Because my last house, my only house, the only house I've ever owned, because we sold our house to move out of London. My house was 125 years old. And that was not an old house. That's not an old house in London.
Right.
So
I've been to Dublin, but that was in the 90s. But yeah, you walk around the corner and a church would have 1784 on it, or maybe that's like the Guinness Brewery. I forget.
So, also, you would forget after coming out of the Guinness Brewery, perhaps.
Yeah. Turn the corner to see a castle. Yeah.
So you visited Dublin, and did you go anywhere else?
Yeah, and we went all around because I was at UCD and studying, and so we'd go on tours to Roscommon, the Family Museum, and Newgrange, that monolithic
amazing
thing, and we went everywhere except for like Belfast or Ulster, because it was 96. My friends didn't want to go. The accents, they mentioned like the accents, they didn't want to. Now I have friends two in Belfast and quite a few in Dublin.
Yeah, I definitely want to get to. I definitely want to get to London. And I know my wife is considering what it's called a repositioning cruise.
Not heard of that.
Cruise ship, but you start off in Florida because it's the end of their season, and they're taking their ship to Europe. So you have like 11-day cruise, and like 9 of the days are just at sea.
But they're at sea on a floating city, basically.
Right.
They have like 4,000 people on these boats. Like,
it's crazy.
Greg goes on a lot of cruises.
My wife loves cruises, so I'm tagging along. So I think it'll be great. And you can't decide. She can't decide if she wants to start in Florida and go to, or get it backwards. Start in London, fly to London, and then go back to the U.S. or do it in the fall and then from the U.S. So let's say we can't decide, but I want to take a couple extra days in London. Yes. I mean, a few nights. I mean, you can't do London in a few days, but I just want to get the feel of it.
Do it. London's one of the best cities in the world. Yeah, like if you went, absolutely. I love London. I grew up there. I'm glad I don't live there anymore because the pace of life and everything else. I'm kind of really happy to not be living. I live very rurally now. Like we're living in real countryside. But I'm that's where I'm from, and that's kind of like when I go back there, I always feel like I'm coming home, even though I don't want to live there anymore. I love visiting, and it's a great city, really beautiful to walk around as well.
You were born though in Ireland.
No, I was born in London.
You were.
My parents are from Belfast. My mum and dad. Yeah, they're both from Belfast, and they met in London actually. they had friends in common, and people like my mum was friends with my dad's sister, and they met in London. My mum came over here to study when she was 18, and then never went back. My dad came over here because there was no work in Ireland. So like, in the 1960s, there was a lot of people, and my dad got, the story he tells me is he got fined for playing football in the street in Belfast. And he also didn't have any work to pay the fine. So he came to London, and this was all pre-Troubles. Belfast was a very different place when my mum and dad were young. And my mum lived on what they called a mixed street, I suppose you'd call it, Protestants and Catholics together. My mum grew up, that's where my mum grew up. And my dad grew up very poor, very Angela's ashes, my dad's childhood. He's the second oldest of 14.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 10 sisters. Well, he had 10 sisters, not all still here, but sadly, but 3 brothers. And yeah, he was the second oldest. My family is huge. but I think very typical of older Irish families, quite, you know. So so they met in London, and they've been here since the 60s in England, and they're still in London. Yeah, they're in their 80s now, mum and dad.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were all born over here, and there was a point when my dad wanted to go back to Belfast, because in the 1970s, lots of my dad's siblings were living here. He's only got one sibling that lives here now, and lots of them went back to Belfast, and they took, like, my cousins who they were born over here, they went back to Belfast, and my dad wanted to do it, and my mum said, no, it's a war zone, I'm not taking my children over there, because she didn't want,
that was like the height of the Troubles.
It was the height of the Troubles, and a lot of, from my parents, with my dad would said, like, a lot of people went back because they felt it was their kind of duty to go back and be in Ireland, and because that's what it was felt. And my dad, when he would go back and visit, he wanted to go back, my mum didn't, so of course he stayed here with my mum, with us. And a lot of, like, when he would go back, I think he did get a lot of would get a lot of comments when he'd go back and visit, because my mum and dad would go back and visit their family a few times a year. And I was watching a really amazing documentary on the BBC about the Troubles. It was like the 20th anniversary of the peace, the peace process, and basically they were talking about the whole history of it from from very different, all the different perspectives. They interviewed a lot of people. It was really fascinating. And I watched it with my dad, and he talked to me about it for the first time. He'd never really talked to me about his experience as someone who, because he felt, and my mum felt, they didn't live through the Troubles. They would go and visit their family there all the time, and their families were living through it, but they didn't personally live through it. So they didn't ever feel that it was anything for them to comment upon or anything like that. You know, they wouldn't really talk about it that much. But he did talk about it, and they were talking about the fact that some people would go back and they would get comments from people that they were living in England and they should have been back there in Ireland. And I said, did that happen to you? And he said, yeah, it did. Really, fascinating. But it's a fascinating period of history. But I watched a
few documentaries, and like the one on Bobby Sands, 6 days, and then Jerry Adams ones.
Yeah, it's a really like, I watched a thing on Bobby Sands as well, and it's just the whole thing is so heartbreaking. Like, everything is just, it's really is. But I think, like, I've not read but like I said, there's what's the book that's Patrick Radden Keefe's book that everyone was reading a little while ago, Say Nothing, that's supposed to be amazing, about amazing history.
I was about to ask you, I mean, I kind of want to learn more about it. I don't know, I mean, I read one for the BookTube Prize 2 years ago. It was about a double agent who was Irish and was basically feeding information to the British.
Right.
And he wound up dead. You know? And it was like a murder, like, cold, like 20 years later. They go in and say, let's see if we can solve this murder. That was pretty good, but
right.
There's one novel. What was it? Trinity by Leon Uris.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I've not read that. No.
They tell the history of it and throw in a little romance and some battles, and it's good. I liked it. And the second one, Redemption, isn't as good, but yeah, I recommend that. Trinity.
I'll have to look into it. Yeah, because the Patrick Radden Keefe wrote Empire of Pain, you know, about the Sackler dynasty. And
that was a really good book.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah. What a book. Yeah, amazing. And just unbelievable. You couldn't make it up. Like, you really couldn't. But he wrote, Say Nothing is his book about the Troubles in the history of, it's supposed to be amazing. Yeah.
I should definitely put that on my list to pick up.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Yeah, it's on my list of things, but I also feel like I don't know. I should know more about it. And I think because I spent childhoods over in Ireland and Belfast. I remember Belfast in the 1980s and 1990s. I remember it really well because I spent a lot of holidays there or visiting family there. And then Belfast now is a very big city break destination for people. So like the whole the English love a city break. You go to Paris for the weekend or we go here for the weekend. Belfast has become like, let's go to Belfast for the weekend, which to me, remembering what it was like in the 80s and the 90s when I was a child, is just unbelievable still to me that people do that. And I've had friends who are like, I'm going to Belfast, what do you recommend doing? And I was like, I wouldn't know because I've never been a tourist in Belfast. I would go to Belfast and I would go and stay with family, and it wasn't a tour. You didn't go, I didn't go to touristy places because there weren't any. Now people go there and it's a destination, and there's the Titanic Museum people go to. They go on tours of all the murals and the the political tours. They can do those as well. And to me, that is
they make the whiskey at what's that whiskey and out of I know it.
Bush, well, in Northern Ireland is there's the Irish whiskey that they would drink in the Catholic part would be Jameson's, and it's Bushmills.
But in Belfast, though, what's it called? It's begins with a B.
Bushmills.
Bushmills. Yeah, I heard like you walk by there, you can like feel the mist on you.
Right from the but I because this is the thing. I'm just like, well, I would just we'd go stay with our auntie and then go and visit all our other aunties. We didn't do any, and it's not the sort of, now people go there as tourists, and to me it's just it's really like mind-blowing to me and amazing. I think it's amazing that it is as well, because it just shows you the change.
Well, me, I wouldn't mind seeing that orange parade and that, even though most of my friends are, Catholic and everything. But
I mean, as Belfast as well is like a great food city. Apparently there's lots of, to go eat in Belfast, is wonderful. So like they've got the food market, the central market there, and it's supposed to be wonderful, like for that kind of thing. So it's worth a visit, I'd say. Though if I go over there, I can't go there and not visit family. So it's right. But I haven't been for a long time. I haven't been for about 15 years.
Another place that we want to visit. They have a number of ideas how you do Ireland. And there's two methods. Is one that you can get like a tour group that they just basically take you on a bus, this town, go around Ireland. And the other one is that they send you to a central city and then just take day trips out. And we can't decide which one we want to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it all sounds pretty good. Because the thing is, Ireland's, it's not a big place. Like, it's like, in the UK, it's like you can, I imagine if you spaced yourself somewhere and went on day trips, that would be kind of, I'd like the idea of a tour around it. I'd like to tour around it because there's so many parts of Ireland I'd love to visit. I've only been to Dublin and Belfast, and just outside of Belfast, the sort of coast, the Northern Ireland coast is amazing.
I'd like to see the West Coast too, like Sligo and Aran Islands.
Yes,
I never got to see that.
The Wild West, the Wild West of Ireland. Yeah, so supposed to be absolutely stunning.
Let me catch up on some people. Bark Lord. He's talking about the Mariners. That's baseball here in the United States. Hey, Nicole. Nicole's here.
Oh, hi.
Nicole.
Yeah, Greg says Say Nothing is a great book.
Yeah, it's supposed to be amazing. Yeah.
Gavin's here.
You get that.
Hi, Gavin.
Gavin.
Milkman by Anna Burns is a great novel set. I have that on my Kindle.
I've read that a couple times.
Now, is that the one that's sort of written in dialect?
I can't remember. What I do remember about it is that you don't get anyone's name, isn't it? Like so she's talking about like cousin or aunt or whatever, and they don't mention the characters' names. I remember that.
I don't know. I mean, I remember someone said the style.
The style
is very difficult to get into.
Was it a Booker shortlist or long list book a couple of years ago?
Yeah, won a lot of awards. I reviewed it when it came out, but I can't remember the specifics. I know the Milkman was bad, and it was some sexual stuff in it.
Yeah, I think is it a young woman during the Troubles, and she has an. Is he a married man, or she has an affair?
I don't remember. I mean, that's not the part that the affair is like. The times and the language is what sort of brought me into wanting to get to it, and I got it like 4 years ago, so
right.
I haven't read it. I can remember 4 years ago.
I made a comment today on one of Jack's videos that like 2 weeks ago about. I read Nesting 2 this year, and then I read Foster.
Oh, Claire Keegan. Yeah, I've not read Foster, but I've read one other Claire Keegan. I've got it over there, and I can't remember the name of it. At the end of the day, or something like that. I can't remember now, but. Nesting's amazing.
Leonard and Hungry Paul was a good one.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
Yeah. So this year I've read quite a few Irish books. I read Nesting, which is fantastic. I loved it. Really, really great. I can't believe it didn't get sort of shortlisted for the Women's Prize. Tragedy.
Movie.
Yeah, Leonard and Hungry Paul. And I finally read The Country Girls, which I had never read. Finally read it. Edna O'Brien, like classic. Yeah, classic Irish book, a banned book in Ireland for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, talking about thinking about banned books a lot lately, but that
it was in the US Banned Books Week last week.
Yes, so I saw on MJ's channel when she read the list out, and I thought I couldn't believe that A Clockwork Orange was top of the list.
I know.
I couldn't believe it because I know it's always. I mean, it was a divisive book when it came out, and I've got it. We're reading it for the FOMO Book Club at the moment. There you go. I've got a nice 70s penguin cover over there. Like I've got a really old 70s version. I'll grab it off the shelf if I can find it.
You got to be careful. You don't have the American edition from the 70s, do you?
No, it's English like penguin version.
Because in the United States, they dropped the last chapter of the book.
So basically, what's the word? When you cut things out, censorship, a little bit of censorship.
Well, what happened was, have you read it before?
Yes, I read it when I was younger, but I
won't spoil it for people who haven't read it. But the ending is not what you would expect. And what happened, if you ever watched the movie Clockwork Orange, the director was given an American edition of the book. So the ending of his movie fits the ending of the American edition.
Stanley Kubrick, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got 2 posters too. I'm seeing if I could get them out easy.
But it's like it changes your interpretation of the book entirely. That last chapter.
Yeah. I haven't read it since I read it when I was 18 or 19. And I haven't read it since. And we picked it for our FOMO book club that I run with Gemma, because we used to run it with Alice, and Alice sadly she passed away last year. And A Clockwork Orange was her favourite book,
really?
Which surprised a lot of people.
Yeah,
yes.
I thought you read it with Dad and Floss from Grape Jelly Library, and they both liked it.
I loved dystopian. I still love dystopian fiction, and so I can't believe I haven't reread it since, but I remember loving it when I read it at that age. I thought it was a great book, and so we picked it because we wanted to pick some books for, to remember Alice and think about books that she loved. And so it happened to be the September-October pick for, we picked, like, this was a year ago, we planned to read it. And it turns out it's the #1 banned book. And when you were talking like banned books week, was last week, was it, in America?
It was last week.
Yeah. Which is, the book here, I don't know if the book was as controversial as the film over here. I don't know. I know the film was very controversial over here when it was released. But the book I'm not sure about. But I know it's very divisive anyway. It was when it was released.
This is the United States. They'll ban anything in the United States right about now. In certain states, it's just like. But for me, I did a reread of Portrait of Dorian Gray for banned books.
Oh, is that banned as well?
Yes, it is banned. I was actually having ChatGPT give me a list of classic banned books. And I said classic because if I looked at the modern banned books, it's all young adults, almost well, you have the exception of a Clockwork Orange, but
and Judy Blume, a lot of Judy Blume, because I was like, I'm going to read some. I love Judy Blume. He's
also basically a young adult author, and so I just looked at it and I said, oh, I want to reread the Portrait of Dorian Gray. So I was, what?
Brilliant book.
It is.
I'm wondering why it was banned. What about it?
Well,
trying to think.
Well, Alan, it's very obvious that Dorian Gray is a homosexual.
Yeah, it's gay code, a lot of gay coding in it. But I wonder, when you get the list of banned books, that MJ read out, does it have reasons as to why, or did it just say it was banned?
I did. I got some of the reasons, and again, sexual innuendos and Dorian Gray. But then I found out there is a more recent edition, because when Oscar Wilde submitted to his publisher, there were a lot more homosexual, not so innuendo incidents in the book, and the publisher took them out.
Interesting. And also, it was used in the trial against him, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was used in the trial against Oscar Wilde, because I first read it. I think it was maybe my second Victober, and I hosted a read along of it because I'd never read it before, and I hosted it with Claudia from Spencer's Library because it's her favourite classic, and we did a read along, and it's just such a. I knew I was expecting it to be one of those books where you're just like, I'm recognizing loads of quotes, but it was really, so many things that
wild quotes out of. I mean, he was such an amazingly witty, and
Irishman.
Brings into characters.
Funny, well, real brief. I won a thing back when a YouTuber is not even on anymore, but I read Dorian in a 24-hour period, and vlogged it. It was kind of wild. I wonder if I could find that video. Sometimes if you don't put videos in playlists, they just go fly away somewhere.
Yeah. But that is a big challenge reading that, because also it's like it might be a small. It's not a long novel, but it's got a lot in it. It's very dense in terms of the ideas and. I'm trying
to remember if there's like a drug use in it, and I don't think so.
No. There is a chapter where Dorian is heading out to get his opium.
Oh,
so there's drug use. I mean, it's very subtle, and if you weren't paying attention, especially in an earlier age, you may not realize that he's gay because he never explicitly says. Although there's one scene where he's blackmailing someone, and he writes something down, and obviously they've had some sort of liaison in the past, and he's threatening to reveal it, and it was really good, and I'm glad because I first read it probably in my 30s, and now that I'm over 60, I can appreciate a lot more.
That you find that as well, that I like, thinking about like the benefits of getting older, And like the really things that I love about getting older is being able to look at, especially books, rereading books that I read when I was younger and having a whole new perspective on them. I love that. I think it's one of the sort of, benefits of getting older and changing. And like, someone said, we're talking about like a library of books, and how if you put down, when you have a cellar of wine, you put the wine in the cellar and you lay it aside until the wine's ready to drink. But with a library of books, someone put this quote on one of my videos, it was great, and it was like, you put the books away until you're ready to read them, like, and then so you've matured enough to read them and appreciate them. And I was like, that's a lovely way of thinking about it.
And sometimes you go back to an old book that you loved and you read it and you go,
what?
Why did I appreciate that when I was 29? And
well, what about this? Or like you see a book that's been on your shelf for a year or two and you read it and you go, oh my God, what made me sit and look at it? Like Heinz Kidnap. We've been looking at that for a few years.
We did.
That might be good.
Yeah, so hold on. I'm going to say hi to some more people. Hey, Michelle.
Michelle from
Hello,
Boston.
Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Mick says the 12 by Stuart Neville is also set in NI shortly after the Troubles. Covers the excuse me. Talking about Clara Keegan. Yeah, I read Foster the year it won the BookTube prize, and I was just totally nonplussed by that book.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
It is.
So Late in the Day. That's what I read. So Late in the Day. That's the one I read. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember the name of it. But yeah, I think you can see her writing's amazing. And
but it's just the story. The story and the characters just. It was too quiet of a book. And
quiet.
And too much family relationship. And I wanted something, I guess, maybe a little more serious, a little more edgy, So Pat says small things like these in Foster's are both brilliant. Claire Keegan, Leonard and Hungry Paul by Rowan Hassan was the one Dublin book a couple. Pat's always talking how much she loves Leonard and Hungry Paul.
I have to thank Pat, because I only read it because she championed it and I didn't know of it. And I read it on holiday this year and I really enjoyed it. It's again a quiet book, but sometimes like that's kind of what you need. And I really appreciated it. The one thing I didn't appreciate though is you never find out why he's called Hungry Paul. That was just like, why is he called that?
It was like a letter to the editor.
When you're talking about quiet book,
I appreciate that.
Hold on, let me see if I have my copy down here.
Pat turns down a lot of great books.
Oh yeah, Pat's wonderful. Pat and it's really interesting because you how long have you been on BookTube now, Alan?
7 years.
7 years. And isn't it interesting? Like you get you have your sort of cohort of people that you start with, and then you go like there's cycles of groups of people that join and that you get to know. And in the last, I suppose, year and a half, I've had a whole cycle of new BookTube friends, and Pat's thankfully been one of them. And it's been lovely. But it's interesting how you kind of go through these cycles of different cohorts of people, I suppose. But
I know there are some booktubers that were big in my group. I know Miss reads a lot. I used to watch all of her videos. Everything who reads must converse.
Yes, Noah, isn't it? Noah?
Yeah.
We had a lot of his live streams, and I think he just got worked out because I know he got a new job somewhere, and I think he just had to.
His channel was very successful, I thought.
Was very successful. It was like I was a small guy, and I considered him a big channel back then.
Yes,
I want to be like him, but now I'm probably where he was. So,
I visited him in Atlanta back a few years ago when I was in Georgia. But go ahead.
I was going to say, I was just going to ask Greg because you're about the same time as me, right?
I'm
longer.
4 years.
Yeah, so I was 5 years in September. So
Okay.
yeah,
I will be 5 years in March, I think.
And
A little before me.
Same time.
Mm.
Brian and Bookish.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm reading through our comments. Michelle says Charlotte's Web banned. Yeah, I mean, banning Charlotte's Web.
The most beautiful books.
Now the thing is, this was banned in some place like Florida, and Florida will ban anything if any parent complains about it.
That's just, I mean, to me, that's just because I was talking to someone about it. I don't know if it was another live stream, another discussion with some other booktubers, and we were talking about, because I don't know if it was me and Gareth were talking to someone about it, and being teachers here in the UK, and like, you just don't get that. You do get some complaints sometimes about some materials that may be used or whatever, but no one would, like, the schools wouldn't take a position of banning anything ever here, and it wouldn't happen. It just doesn't happen in schools here. It may have happened in the past, and I imagine it did, but since I've been teaching, so the last sort of 20 odd years, I've never experienced that over here. And I think I've only ever had one, some parents complain about some materials used in sex ed classes, but they were perfectly fine. The materials weren't, it was just the parent objected to it. But over here in the UK, you can withdraw children from, you used to be able to withdraw children from, because it was called sex and relationships education. And you used to be able to withdraw them from the relationships part, but not the sex science part. The science part, statutory, if you're in a state school, you will be attending that. But they could withdraw from that. And then the government changed the legislation a few years back to say, no, you can't. you can't withdraw them from
that. Health tie-in too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
I won't be over here, you know, don't get us started about they want to go back to all kinds of old BS.
Yeah. There was when I first moved here, it was in 22. They had a article in the Washington Post, which was a major newspaper in Washington D.C., and about a woman who lived in the same county that I live in, and her goal is to ban a book a week. She'd read all these books and say, "You must ban it for this reason." And it's kind of like, you're reading all these books you hate, just so you can say you can. And I'm going like, I'm not a psychologist, but there's something seriously wrong with your mentality if you want to engage in activity that you detest to try to prevent other people from engaging in it.
Very strange. It's very strange.
It is.
We had when I was a child in 1980s, and she was coming to the end of her sort of time over here, but in the 1960s and 70s and 80s, there was a woman called Mary Whitehouse, and she was very well known. She was very much the kind of champion of morals here in the UK, and she was always on news and political programs, being, you know, finding things disgraceful. And so she was kind of like I remember she was quite she was quite a presence here back then. But since her, I don't. In fact, there was a sketch show years ago, which was in the 90s when I was a teenager, and they called it the Mary Whitehouse Experience. But it was like the complete opposite. It was just like, you know, a very satirical kind of thing about it. But she was quite a big influence over here. And these moral champions, you know, I don't think we have them so much over here in the UK anymore.
People want to infringe on other people. I don't get it. Just, you know, remote, or don't read the book, or don't go, or.
Well, I want to answer Mick's question. His question: when these books are referred to as banned, does it really mean restricted? I.e., have they moved from school libraries, but they can still be bought in bookstores? That is a very good point, and generally speaking, they're still available in bookstores. But both the ALA and Pen.org define banned books as something that has been removed or restricted from school libraries. So if you take out Charlotte's Web from the school library and the students no longer have access to it, it is considered a banned book in the school. Yes. Yes.
That's because also I think as well, like I watched your video the other day on it, and you mentioned that, and you're quite right. When you can only purchase these books, when they're not available to you freely, then it puts a barrier between these books and general readership. So like it's banning it from a library or school library is a ban. Because young people can't necessarily have access to money to buy books.
But this is the thing. But this is the people say, well, it's not banned at Barnes and Noble. It's not a banned book. But again, if you're a 14-year-old and you want to read Charlotte's Web, I don't know if Charlotte's Web is a 14-year-old book, but if you want to read that, you may not be able to go, Mom and Dad, buy me Charlotte's Web. So you no longer have access to it. It's just insane. Here's Libro saying more recent IRA-related films. I enjoyed her Name of the Father.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great film, yes.
Yeah, here's Michelle saying Charlotte's Web, due to talking animals being blasphemous.
Is that why? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember we read one of the first a lot of the FOMO book club books we've read in the last 3 or 4 years have been banned books. It just turns out that they have been. We read Bridge to Terabithia, and apparently that was a banned book, as it turns out, at one point. Bridge. Have you ever heard of Bridge to Terabithia?
I think I read it, when I was like a kid.
Yeah, it's a really kind of like, it's a heartbreaking book. It's about a child. I mean, it might be a spoiler, but there is a death in it. But I was trying to figure out when we were reading it why it was banned, because we didn't know, but I just had read it had been banned in quite a lot of schools when it was first out. And I think it's because at one point one of the characters doesn't believe in God and doesn't believe in an afterlife. And I felt to myself, well, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it was banned, because I imagine I couldn't think of any other reasons why this book would be banned. Like I was reading it, it's like, why? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's as I said, in some parts of this country, it's just so easy to ban a book. I mean, like I said, in Florida, if one parent complains, they can remove it. One person.
Frightening.
And I'm not 100%. They say that in the United States, like 90% of the book bans are coming from like 12 people. Wow. Like this woman in my county keeps trying to ban a book a week. Just ban. It's just
others.
So Libro says, I imagine Gore Vidal's hilarious novel with a transgendered protagonist is banned. It was a #1 bestseller at the time.
Oh, which one was that? I've got one Gore Vidal book. I've never read it. I've got Julian.
Marina Breckenridge. Yeah, Julian is a historical novel.
Yeah, I got it because I love that period of history. So
I listened to the audiobook. He has 2 of them, Julian and Creation.
Right.
Creation is a bit earlier. Has to do with Zoroastrianism, founder of so I really like those 2 historical novels.
Yeah, because I love the story of Julian the Apostate, because I did classical archaeology for my degree, and so studied Roman Greece, and I always loved the story of Julian the Apostate. Is a really kind of romantic idea. This, trying to, once before Christianity, he came back, like when he became emperor, I revealed that he's actually got these pagan leanings and sympathies. He's not actually a Christian. And he didn't last long. So yeah, the last pagan emperor of Rome, I think.
So we got Chris Liminal Spaces. Hello.
Hi.
We're all going to be doing the Sea of Fertility in 2026, the Yokomo Mishima.
Oh.
That is, hold on. These 4 novels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one a month.
Oof.
And
Is that like classic?
Christian guys.
Yeah, Chris is familiar with. He's read it before, and hopefully we can recommend some short histories to get you up to speed on Japanese culture and history. And I know one of the books deals very heavily in Buddhism. That if you're not familiar with certain Buddhist terms and concepts, you may be a little lost. So hopefully we will all get that settled out before.
Many home. The jewel is in the lotus. Go ahead.
Pat says the film made from Foster is called The Quiet Girl. Carrie, The Quiet of Foster is a beauty. It's a wonderfully reflective Irish rural life and the interactions between the families at the social time in Ireland. Yet Pat says, no, you're never told why he's called Hungry Paul.
No, not at all.
Charlotte's Web with banned. Yeah, Chris, we talked about that before. Talking animals is blasphemous. Parents, troubled souls. He's quoting Pink Floyd. And this is the woman you're talking, the moral woman talking White House.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right.
See, when I first heard that song, I said, White House. I said, why are you talking about the place where the president lives? It never, because she was not a phenomenon here in the and he mentioned that in one other talk that we had somewhere. I can't remember where, but
it's off the Animals album.
It is off the Animals album from Pigs, the song. I don't know now. Pat would have been better, but when I was in school there was no relationship education and barely sex education, whether science or other. She who is Roger's water is singing about.
Yeah, she says. My brothers are all big Pink Floyd fans. I know a bit about Pink Floyd, but not as much as they would have done. But I did meet someone from Pink Floyd actually. He was signing a book at the bookshop I worked at. No. It was
no.
It was probably the keyboardist.
It was.
Oh, what was his name?
Nick Mason.
Nick Mason.
Richard Wright? No. I think we know the.
Yeah, I got his autograph for my book. He released a book. I think he was a fan of like cars, like driving, and he basically had released a book about like. Anyway, he was doing a book signing at my Waterstones branch that I worked at. We had some great people do book signings there, and he signed a thing for me. But I was just looking up the Pink Floyd reference to Mary Whitehouse. Pigs directly targets Mary Whitehouse, the subject of the third verse, as a conservative social morality campaigner who tried to limit freedom of expression, which is what that was her. Yes, there you go.
Oh, so Chris, I was just typing that. I think he's talking about Roger Waters. I'm quick with Pink Floyd. It says, gotcha, Greg. Probably about defining banned books. Michelle, of course, I grew up directly in the Midwest, so kids were always searching for banned books like Sooner or Later by Judy Blume.
Judy Blume. Judy Blume's wonderful.
Hello, Hassan. More Mary Whitehouse. Here we go. Bridge to Brinkta because of death and because they considered there to be witchcraft and sacrilege in the book.
I think the sacrilege, because I think one point a character that dies and she talks about not believing in anything in the afterlife and anything after. She's like her parents were atheists, I think. And then there's also the children build this imaginary world of Terabithia. So there is like this kind of, I suppose, magical fantasy element to it in their minds. But yeah.
Okay.
Witchcraft. I don't know about witchcraft though. Nick Mason. It was Nick Mason. Yes, that's who I met. Yeah.
Yeah. Hassan says Pink Floyd is fantastic. Been listening to them more recently. I just love how the album covers draw you in, and the keyboards. Nick Mason is the drummer. He was the one that wrote the book recently.
Oh.
Given how little kids read anyway, they have an iPhone, and most of them do or have a tablet. All they have to do, they have to see it all the time. A book's content should be the least of their. I agree. I mean, as I said, I can't think of any book to ban, really.
No, I think, like you say, it's there are bigger, like there are worse influences out there on young people online than what they might read in Charlotte's Web. Like, goodness me.
Yeah. Part 2 game. It was a book report I received after a lashing from my brother, who had been called to the school. Oh, I guess you gave it to her niece. Yeah, I bet you met him. Seemed like a nice guy. Okay, we're out of comments. Yay! So,
well done. You're really good at keeping up with them.
so I know we're sort of at the end of the hour, but we always talk about books that people are currently reading. So
I actually did put them here in preparation, actually.
So you get to go first as the guest.
Oh, thank you. So I'm currently reading with Pat, actually, Barchester Towers. Anthony Trollope.
Great book.
Yes, very exciting. We read The Warden a few months ago because Pat had made a comment on one of her videos that she was one of the only booktubers who probably never read the Anthony Trollope. I was like, no, you're not. For me as well. So we read The Warden together and loved it. And we started this last week. We're not far off halfway through it. We're really enjoying it. Though we've had a couple of chapters recently that have been a bit long. We're describing one of the characters, and I usually like his descriptions of the characters, but we both agreed that, because I thought it was me being tired, I was like, I'm not keeping my interest. But other than that, the humor, loving Trollope, his characters, the humor, the way he kind of structures his writing, that he kind of inserts himself as the narrator not into the story, but his commentary, like he's not afraid to talk about. It's very like meta kind of way about the writing.
I don't know if it's typical of the Victorian authors, or is that
no, I don't know if it is. And he mentions, we've been saying as well, we've noticed that on a couple of occasions he talks about his characters in relation to other famous literary characters. And so one of his characters he actually says is descended from a character from Tristram Shandy. He actually says that in the book, which is really fascinating. And so we're really enjoying this, very much so. And we've got if we got another 45 Anthony Trollope books, if we like that one. Apparently he was prolific, wasn't he? And I'm also reading Boudicca's Daughter by Elodie Harper.
Okay.
Because it's just come out. I got it from the library, one of the lucky people to get an early copy of it from the library. And I absolutely loved the Wolf Den trilogy.
I did too.
I absolutely loved it. And Boudicca's Daughter, I'm about nearly halfway through again, actually.
Give me I have not known about what's the lowdown? Where is it set?
So Boudicca's Daughter was released in September, and it's basically all about the idea that also, the sort of story of Boudica, who was an Iceni warrior, like queen here when the Romans in the sort of 1st century AD. And the Romans, I don't know if they killed her husband, who was the chief of the tribe, but he died anyway. And then they beat her and they assaulted her daughters. And so she raised the entire tribe of the Iceni and nearly drove the Romans out of Britain. So she's like a hugely influential kind of like historical figure here in the UK as a sort of British rebel against the Romans, and a woman, so she's a great figure. And Boudicca's Daughter is Elodie Harper's kind of imagining of the life of one of her daughters. So I'm about halfway through. So far, I have to say, I'm not loving it as immediately as I did with the Wolf Den. And I think it might be because the Wolf Den's characters and the way the story was told in first person, I kind of was immediately drawn to the character, and I cared about her immediately. And this is kind of structured a little bit differently. Some first-person chapters interspersed with some third-person kind of viewpoints from other characters. And I think it's not hooked me onto the character straight away. But I will finish it because I loved her other books so much. And this has got a lot of praise at the moment. So yeah, that's one. And I'm reading a non-fiction, How to Take Smart Notes. That's my non-fiction at the moment, which is a really good book if you're into if you like if you're doing any sort of personal learning or academic learning, if you're into anything like that. It's a really interesting way of basically this idea of taking notes in a much more different way from what you're used to, rather than just underlining things and putting them away and forgetting about them. It's about making your notes more dynamic, and so that they produce more ideas and you can connect all your ideas together and stuff.
Yeah,
so
you read a lot of books like that. I read like more self-help probably, and I don't really mention them here on YouTube. I don't like. I just got done reading Atomic Habits.
I love that book.
And I probably won't talk about it, but or other things. But
it's also one of those books that loads of people have read, because I've never really talked about it that much. I've mentioned it maybe on my channel, but when I first read it, I really was like, wow, this is great, because I don't think that deeply about habit formation. But yeah, so what did you think of it, Alan?
Atomic Habits? Well, I like it a lot. I mean, I kind of I like that part. Well, I've been trying to quit smoking for about 13 years, so
it's hard.
I don't know, it's getting ridiculous. But so how he said, like, you have to really almost take on the new persona or the new non-smoking person, to really rid yourself of the habit. Talking about Oscar Wilde, Greg mentioned that little aphorism of his, the only way to rid temptation is to yield to it. But yeah, I'd like to quit smoking, so I was kind of geared on that.
It took me years to quit smoking. Years. I was a smoker for years. Yes. And it took me a long time. It's a really difficult habit to break, and I do feel.
Well, I quit smoking too, around 35, but I kind of just happened to me, because what happened is I was working for a company. I could take smoke breaks, and then we got bought out and transferred to a new company. And the woman in charge says, you are a salaried employee. You're not allowed to take breaks.
You believe that? That's not even legal. But go ahead.
Yeah.
No, she says, no. Hourly people get a 15-minute break every.
All your salary.
For your salary, you don't get a break.
God. That's not, yeah.
Okay, so basically, I couldn't smoke at work anymore, because she called me and said, you're not allowed a break.
Greg out.
So that was one thing. Then I bought a new car, and I decided, I'm just not going to smoke in my car to get it stinky. And then we moved to a new house and couldn't smoke in the house. We had a deck, nearby. I could smoke on the deck, covered. And then one night I ran out of cigarettes, and I could walk to the shop about a block away that sold cigarettes. It was raining. I said, oh, damn it, I don't want to walk. So I just quit.
Amazing.
Right. That's how I'm going to have to do it too, cold turkey, because, I got 10.
Well, Alan, the thing is.
I vaped. Yeah, that's what helped me stop.
Yeah.
It did help me stop.
Just start restricting where you smoke.
I pay like $28 a month for 2 of these air fresheners. They're really high concentrated. So they work, because I have friends that come over and they can't smell anything.
Oh, that's good. You're right about the restriction, though, because when they brought in the smoking ban over here, we were way behind some of the places in America that have done it. They brought the smoking ban over here, and people couldn't believe that they were going to be doing that. And now you couldn't imagine being I saw some old photographs of us at a party, maybe 25 plus years ago, and everyone's like stand in the in the pub smoking.
Yeah.
And to me, look, if someone did that now, you would just be shocked. And I went to Berlin about 12 years ago, and it was it's like -8 or 9 degrees, something like that anyway. But they basically, in some of the bars, the people were just smoking in the bar because it was too cold to go outside, even though it's illegal. But certain bars, they were just like, oh, it's fine because it's too cold outside. And it shocked me, but I didn't realize how shocked I would be because I was so used to smoking indoors. And then you suddenly suddenly that becomes quite disgusting after a while. You're like, no. And then I remember I went to New York. Gosh, it's the first time I went to the States. And I went to New York in 2005, 20 years ago. Actually, 20 years ago this month, October. And it was the first time, it must have been before the smoking ban in the UK came into effect, because I went to a bar in New York and you had to go outside to smoke. And it was just like, so weird. It was just such a weird thing. But now the indoor smoking would be strange. So like once you start restricting yourself. I said it to one of my brothers, like, don't smoke in your house, just go outside and then you'll smoke less. Like, because if you kind of put those restrictions in place. Yeah.
I think that's really what got me out of it. So
nobody knows I smoke in my building. So if I'd be going outside, I got it.
Let's get a few more comments. Libra says, I'm waiting for Paddington to be banned. He's an immigrant from Peru.
No papers, just a marmalade sandwich.
And what message does it send to kids? And Winnie the Pooh, he wears a shirt but no pants. Clearly a radical. I think we got to start building up that radical Pooh image more. We need more radicals.
Winnie the Pooh and Porky Pig.
Porky Pig doesn't wear pants either.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's really funny? You may not be familiar with the old monster comics in the United States.
Maybe not.
They're giant monsters. Now the thing is, like the heads from Easter Island. In this comic, it's a full statue underneath, and the statues rise out of the dirt.
Oh,
but they're wearing pants.
Oh, ridiculous!
I mean, they're considered flesh tone pants, but it's very clearly pants. And you have giant dragons, and they're wearing pants.
No, man, don't.
Because you don't want a giant monster with his ding-a-ling.
You don't want them Porky Pigging around the place, no.
No.
They're talking about Junkie. Michelle says maybe Naked Lunch by Burroughs.
William Burroughs Junkie, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, I could also tell people, like, maybe I don't want to get that addicted to drugs.
Yeah, there's the one that did that. Like, there's very good. A Scanner Darkly, the Philip K. Dick book.
Oh, that's a great book.
Yeah, such a great book. And I always remember that. I think it's either he writes a foreword or he makes a comment on it. It's either an afterword or a foreword. Yeah, and he says that we were like children playing in the street, and we didn't realize, like, he's talking about all of his friends that have lost their lives to drugs and things like that. And he talks about it as if we were playing, but we were playing in traffic and we didn't realize it, or something like that.
Something like that. I remember because I read it. Was it earlier this year or last year? Somewhere within the past 2 years, and it was very profound because he did everything a human being could possibly do.
Great book.
It was. Yeah. Talk about Henry Miller. Yeah, I read Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was an audio, but it didn't shock me the way I thought it would shock me.
Yeah, I've never read it.
Well, if you remember one of the early banned books, Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Yes.
And, I read it, and I started to read it. I said, "Oh, this is going to be a naughty book," and it's really not that naughty. There's no really graphic, pornographic sex in that book, but it's clear that there is let's say, lady of we consider the upper class in England, and then there was a man of the lower classes,
and that's the issue. That is the issue right there.
That is not what she was supposed to be doing.
The class system, I mean, very, very much alive and well in this country. and like back then, that would have just been the most shocking
well,
part of it.
I think I did a video. I said in the United States, that would have been like a white woman going out with a black man.
Mm.
That would have been the same taboo.
There's an American comedian who lives in here in England. I'm sure he still lives in here in England. He's basically African American comedian Reginald D. Hunter. Have you heard of him? So he's famous over here. You should look him up. He's great. He's famous over here. I've been to see him, and he's always on loads of panel shows here in the UK. And I remember him saying on, I don't know if you've ever seen the news show, Have I Got News for You, where they have these comedians and they talk about the news of the week, and they basically, it's really, really good. Anyway, he was on that, and he said over here in the UK, he says it's different here. You have class system, he says, and that's a way of being racist to people who look like you. Basically is what he said. And he was, I was like, yeah.
What's his name again?
Reginald D. Hunter. D. Hunter. He's great.
I like stand up, and I like comedians.
Yeah, he's really good, and he's he's not afraid to he doesn't pull any punches. I've seen him live. He's really good. And when he said that, he said, "Yeah, over here you have a class system," and we're like,
yeah. Burroughs had a huge influence on artists from Bowie, Cronenberg to Ballard. Hey, Read by Fred is here. Or was here.
Hi.
Hi, Fred.
Hi.
Happy Canadian.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Well, when is it? Is it today?
I don't know. I don't know what I mean. I'm from the US. I always know Thanksgiving is a Thursday in November, but I guess
I didn't know they had Thanksgiving in Canada.
Yeah, it's different. When I lived in the West Coast, I mean, I really don't like the American Thanksgiving holiday. So for 1 year, I convinced my wife for Thanksgiving, instead of going to someplace or hosting someplace, we're going to drive to Canada, because we were like 2 hours from Canada. And on Thanksgiving in Canada, it's just a Thursday. So relaxing, no family to worry about, nothing. I loved it. IDK, what happened to my copy of Naked Lunch? Lost it in my last move, but I have a few left. I think he lost his copy. Burroughs was heavily influenced in my college art.
Yeah, I haven't got any Burroughs in here, but my partner, he doesn't have as many books as me. He's not as big a reader as me, but he likes William Burroughs. He's got some in there.
Yeah, I've got this collection too. Kind of cool. I've got a record album of Burroughs. It's a white vinyl, but him doing readings and things.
There's talking about Bowie with him. There's a great picture of him with Bowie. I'm sure. I remember where I've got it in one of my books over there. I'm a big Bowie file.
I have a David Bowie tarot deck.
Yes, actually, I've seen these tarot decks. Is it how? It's
called
I really. Yeah, I need to get one of those, because I love that kind of thing. Because I've got a oracle deck, Literary Witches oracle deck. I'm not someone who I've never been someone who's ever read tarot or done anything like that. I've never been, but I love the artwork on these types. Of cards. They're so beautiful.
This is a small version of it, but
I love it.
A big one.
Oh, I love it.
MJ too. I think MJ has it already, but. Anyway.
Hassan talking about smoking since it's 13 and hard to quit. Well, Hassan, all I'm saying is I quit. Other people can quit. It's just
I smoked at a very young age. Yeah, I smoked for a very young age I smoked for the best part of 30 years, and I quit.
Yeah,
so
I've quit before.
It can happen.
And the problem is, if you're trying to go for a scheme to get you to quit, if I only buy this package and do this, you're not going to quit. It's got to come, I want to quit and prove to myself that I can do it.
It's like Atomic Habits in a way.
Jack, I have heard of the personal curriculum fad that's spreading around YouTube.
I think it's lovely. So have you heard of it? Have you guys heard of this?
I have not heard about it. Tell us.
So basically, I saw it on a few channels where there's a really great, and you'd like her channel in terms of the literature that she reviews. She's called the Gutenberg Bible. She's a PhD student, and she got a PhD now, but she studies sort of Victoria, like basically she's a literature PhD, and she has a great channel. And I saw it first on her channel, and because she's finished her PhD, she's seen this trend going around, and then I want to watch one of her videos, then you see loads of them, you go down this rabbit hole, don't you? And it's this idea of people are really basically it's just personalized learning, and people are romanticizing it by turning it into almost like a university scheme of work or a semester of work. They decide what they want to learn about, and they pick a topic, and then they think about questions they want to answer about that topic, what they want to learn, and then they research and compile a reading list, and they put aside time to do the studying. And they might one of the things that they do at the end of it is, if they're YouTubers, they generally will do a video essay about it, or if they might, they might write a blog post about it just to prove their learning and to reinforce their learning. And I just think it's a wonderful thing, because it's people taking back that also that kind of intrinsic love of learning. And that and a lot of people that are doing it, some of them are people who love studying anyway and have just missed studying because they've left college or they've finished a PhD. And then some people are doing it who didn't enjoy necessarily studying at school, but because they weren't necessarily studying the things they loved. And I just think it's as an educator, I think it's lovely. I think it's a really
it sounds interesting. I mean, it sounds
yeah. And if anyone's doing it, I recommend reading how to take smart notes because it's a really good book, because I think it goes along with that nicely, actually.
I've often said YouTube is like free education.
Yes.
Doing this book read-alongs and everything. Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's a wonderful, because we always, I think the advent of recent chats about all sorts of issues of the internet and online and everything else. We're living in an age where we have access to learn absolutely anything we like, which it just blows my mind. I just love that. I think it's
like harmonica. I learned harmonica on YouTube.
I've mentioned this before. Is that the great courses? They can either have video or audio, and they have lots of different subjects. But I love them because you feel like you're in a college classroom, you're getting a top-notch education, but you don't have to take a test.
Yes.
Slap in between.
You don't have to worry. Is this the kind of professor where you have to say what he said in your notes, or can you challenge him or her and get your own ideas? And if you've been to university, those two different type of professors.
And actually, this is the thing, is that because I work in higher education here in the UK, and actually what you want is these students to challenge and to try and be critical thinkers. And so actually that's what you want, right? Isn't it? That's the whole point of it all. It's become a critical thinker and to challenge ideas and to put forward your own ideas. But I love that, because that's the other part of these personal curricula that people are putting together. But they're basically some of them are saying, there's a free course on this on such and such a university website. And over here in the UK, if anyone is interested in doing it, I don't know if you can access it elsewhere, but the Open University, which is wonderful institution over here in the UK, and they have a lot of free online courses in all sorts of topics. And if you can I think you can access them from anywhere, but really lovely. And just imagine, like you say, just you don't have, there's no stakes, that there's no sort of you don't have to take a test at the end of it, you don't have to, you're just learning for the love of learning, which is amazing.
So at least in the United States, the great courses are available in many public libraries. You can download, at least I download the audio a lot. But
and they'll have a PDF on it.
They might. So lots of options out there. All right. Boudica, Half Our History Podcast, did an episode on her. Revenge turned up to 11. Makes me one of those times in history, if her side kept on winning, how could UK look now?
Well, this is the thing, because she nearly drove them out of, she burned some of this, because the Romans were really well established in the south southeast. I mean, they founded London, right? So London is they founded. That's where they were based, and so they made peace with a lot of the tribes and around there, and some of them they couldn't make peace with, and they were trying to subdue them, and they never quite subdued the British tribes really. And then she nearly she burned through Colchester and St Albans, basically these Roman towns, Camula, Junum, and Verulamium, which were what they were called, and she just burned them to the ground. She slaughtered them all, and basically was stopped after weeks and weeks of it's an amazing story, because especially that she was a woman, because the Romans they was a very patriarchal society, so they were I think quite shocked by this, So.
Okay, well, you've convinced me. I mean, I like I said, I love the Wolf Den trilogy, so I'm going to put that on my list. Probably 2026.
Yeah, I mean, I'd read about Boudica. It's just a great, fascinating story. And there's a statue of Boudica, according to Elodie Harper, which I didn't know about, on one of the bridges in London. And I was like, of some part of London. I think she says it in her opening, in her forward. It faces, the statue faces west. It stands on Westminster Bridge, facing the Houses of Parliament. So yes, but I don't know. I feel this so far hasn't been as great as the Wolf Den, but it's still got halfway to go. So I'm still reading it, so it can't be that.
So
I know you DNF books too sometimes, Jack, and I do as well. I'm not afraid to DNF. What
was the last thing you DNF'd?
See, I have to think about it because I don't do it often. Maybe, I don't know. I can't
remember what I mean, usually with the DNF, it's just like, put it away.
I don't know the last one, but like I DNF'd Lincoln in the Bardo.
Oh, yeah.
I DNF'd Fourth Wing. But it could be like were you saying it like just not at time for me? So
sometimes, yes, it's not the right book at the right time.
Yeah. So well, Fourth Wing, I'm not going to pick up again, but
actually, because from books I DNF'd this year that I would love to go back to, there are books. I've got a pile of books that are sort of just DNF did not finish yet. So I'm hoping to go back to, because either I wasn't kind of in the right frame of mind for it, or whatever. There may be many reasons why, because I try and listen to my mood with reading now more than I did for the first few years of BookTube, because I was always a mood reader, and then I joined BookTube and I was very much like, I've got all these things to take part in, so I had a load of books that I needed to read, and now I kind of push back on that a little bit, and I'm a bit happier for it. I'm not a very structured reader. I try I'm semi-structured maybe, but I find structure kind of.
I let my friends, especially Greg, keep the schedule for me. I really do. But I kind of a mood reader too, because I'm reading a book now just for like pleasure, and that's Dan Brown's Secret of Secrets.
Is that the new one?
Yeah, the new one. Came up on my Libby app real fast. So I got it and said, okay, I'll knock this out.
And what else are you reading? Because we didn't get onto what you guys are reading. We talked about what I was reading. And I'm sure
we're getting kind of close to the hour-and-a-half mark. So, Alan, what have you been reading?
Well, that's what I'm reading now. And then, as you know, I just finished Shadow Ticket. I got the Audible of it. I will get the book and reread it again. Then I think I liked it more than Greg did too.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It just like
you gave it a good review. Then this book, Buried in the Trees, Italian classic. Buddy reading this with Daniela at Uncommon Reader, and that's I should be done with it, but it's kind of book when so many novels, when I get to the end, I don't want to finish because I want to cling to them. But October's gone real well for me. Michelle in the comments, her and I watched at the same time Pit and the Pendulum after reading it.
So Alan, how did you manage that?
Well, we just like a boxer, and then we go, okay, you got it queued up, okay, go.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just, periodically comment about something like, oh, he uses the decoder ring. That's not in the story.
It's all right.
Mm-hmm. Then what we're getting to the end of JR, huh?
What page are you on?
I don't even know. I don't know, but I only have about 100 pages left. Really?
You're ahead of me. Must have jumped. I have 200 pages left.
Okay. Yeah, I take that back. I only have, I'm on 570.
That's just about where I am.
Oh. That's what I have some other things going. I have been paying attention to, like the Cantos, but
all right. This is a surprise read for me. This is The Little Sparrow Murders by Takashi Yokomazo. Lee sent me a box of books as a gift, and she's been reading a lot of Japanese mysteries. So I got this last week, earlier this week. Yeah, we're on Monday, last week, and I just started picking it up. I had not scheduled and not intended to read this, and it's why not? And this is a very quiet mystery. It's translated from the Japanese, originally published in 1959, about a detective, I'm guessing Tokyo, but he doesn't actually, who goes out for a vacation to get away from investigating. And of course, he's told about this 20-year-old murder that happened in this town. And he says it's curious, but it's not been solved. No one's worried. But then other bodies start turning up.
Oh. So I thought you were going to say it was like a cold case one, just like stuff, but there's current murders.
Well, obviously that this cold case that is maybe not as cold, or like the murder is still around, and does not like the idea of this police investigator. But why are you committing murders if you don't want the murder investigated? But it's very subtle. There are parts of it I don't fully understand. Probably because you're talking a lot about Japanese culture, especially in the 50s, and a lot of the story took place in the 30s. So there are parts where I just have to, I can do my research and dig it all up. And I won't mention, there was one mention where they mentioned that someone's face had been destroyed, and this word like fushi, I'm not getting the word, it's a Japanese word that the translator did not translate it.
Oh, yeah. So,
and I guess it's an area where you put hot coals to cook that we don't have. And I guess someone threw a body in that or face. So obviously hard to identify.
Oh,
gross.
So you say, well, wait a second.
Mafioso.
The person who they think was murdered, was that person really murdered? I don't know.
Can't tell.
I can't identify them. You don't know.
Yeah, because this would have been 1932 in Japan. They probably, the forensics probably would not have been. No. But it's very quiet, very atmospheric, and I mean it's sometimes hard to read. Like I said, just you're not fully engaged. But I do appreciate getting to read these Japanese murder mysteries. So that's what I'm reading. And I said I just finished Portrait of Dorian Gray. A whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and that sounds really great. That Japanese crime fiction.
This is actually the 6th book in the series, so you'd probably want to start with. I mean, it's a police detective book. You know how these things go. It's like police shows up, and what happened in the previous books really does not matter in these kind of murder mysteries. But I'll eventually probably do a dedicated review and suggest to people. You may want to start with book 1. So that's what I've been reading.
I like detective series.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Robichaux.
Yeah, detective. I got into because I don't tend to read much crime or mystery these days. But sometimes when I got into a particular series, I would just go all in and just read that for ages. Like, this is pre-BookTube, of course, but I was really into. I got into the Patricia Cornwell books for a while when I was younger, and I really raced through those. Yeah,
I read those early when they were. I started like when she had just published the third book or something.
And she was still, and then she was still published. Yes,
still published. And eventually, the series jumped the shark at the Body Farm. I thought
so.
Early.
That's quite an early one, isn't it? The Body Farm.
Yeah.
I remember I've got loads of them on my Kindle still.
I enjoyed them.
They were the first ones were fantastic, but
yeah, because I remember I was chatting to Alice about it years ago. She'd read them. I'm sure it was Alice read them, and someone had mentioned that they couldn't stand the more recent ones. Were no good.
Like
she said that she didn't like the more recent ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Alice that said that she didn't like them. Maybe it.
I like the new edition of like her niece Sally is a gay helicopter FBI agent, you know, just superwoman, but she's like a new character they brought in.
She was a child in the first few books.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I got to book 7, maybe 8 before just saying, "Nah, I'm done with this series."
Well, I'm trying to think of like why. Like what they brought in, I don't know. I can't remember. I guess
such a long series, and the other long series that I read was a UK crime writer, Peter Robinson. He died last year or the year before, and he wrote a really long running series, DCI Banks. So it's a police procedural police detective. And he's got about 28 books or something. They were great, and I really enjoyed those. And then. My most recent thing though is if I like a mystery, I like a cozy crime or something. I quite like Richard Osman. I enjoy the Thursday Murder Club books. They're quite good. I say quite good. I really like them.
I read the first one for my book group.
Yeah,
but it's like a whole different way to do a mystery. It's like because all the characters are elderly.
I love that.
And you don't get a lot of elderly characters and a lot of contemporary or even older.
I love an older protagonist. That's why I think I really enjoyed them. Yeah.
Have you read this British guy, Mark? What is it?
No.
Yeah, this is a new one. I buddy read with Mick, who was in the chat. One.
Naming.
I don't remember the title. I remember the story. It was the killer was kind of unique, but yeah, I guess he's really popular in England.
Yeah, I've just brought him up here. Comedian, screenwriter, novelist. I recognise his face, I think. Oh, he used to act in loads of very British TV shows. The Bill, Juliet Bravo, Boone, very old TV shows over here. Yeah, interesting.
But I like him because I don't read a lot of. I used to read Ken Bruin a lot, that Irish guy from Galway.
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
I read one a couple months ago.
Oh, you did?
It's the White something. It's when you have a case that if you solve, it just makes your police career.
Is it a Taylor book?
No, it's a phrase that is
so like the I don't know, like basically like a phrase where it's like a great white shark or whatever, the great white whale or whatever it may be, your white whale maybe.
That's not white whale. Hold on, I can look it up real quick. But it's basically an idea that it's if you're a police officer, it's
that will make your career.
Make your career. Now I'm just curious what that were. I mean, I was not really impressed with the book.
It's not a Jack Taylor book? Is that his name? Jack Taylor, the cop?
White Arrest.
White Arrest. Oh, never heard that term before.
I don't know. I mean, it's a term that's not used in the United States. So,
No.
but it was who is the German Rainer? Rainer Reeds. He's the German living in Sweden, reading books in English. Okay, and he highly recommended it. As I read it, it's like, yeah, I liked it, but it was like I read a couple other his that he co-wrote with a guy named Bruin from the Hard Case Crime series, and those are pretty good. But his independent one,
Yeah.
You're talking about Ken Bruin.
Ken Bruin.
It was a Jack Taylor book.
No.
So it wasn't one of his series, all right.
No, this White Arrest has like 3 books in it. It's like a trilogy or something.
Oh man, I think it's not new then, huh? Or
no, it's like
I remember that
90s or 2000s or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Dublin Noir here. He edited this.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that city Akashic books. I read a lot of those. Like there's a Portland Noir and Phoenix Noir.
Yeah, the Noir books. I mean, every city's got their own editor that lives sort of nearby.
Yeah, I thought it was a good series. I think I reviewed it, but
yep. Oh, here's Michelle. We have an open university. Yes, we can access many of your courses as well at MIT, Harvard, Yale, UCLA.
Good. There's some great courses.
Yeah.
Really good.
Bodhidharma is a great statue.
Yes, Bodicea. So
Bodicea.
Yes, she was called Bodicea for years, and I think that the most in recent years taken to call her Boudica, which is the British with the original, because Bodicea is what the Romans called her. Bodicea. Boudica was the British thing. I don't know where it came about. They know that that's what the British called her, but there you go.
Haven't checked out Aussie University yet. Maybe next. Suggestion for courses.
I always look up the literature courses because I didn't do. I when I was younger, I thought I wanted to do English literature when I went to university, and I didn't. And I feel like now, as I'm older, I'd probably have more appreciation to take a few like courses in, I don't know, Gothic literature or whatever. That would be fun. I think. Did you get overheated when you first found that you were still head in the clouds, excited want to read everything? Oh, YouTube. Yeah. What do you mean? I think.
I'm sort of heading the. Oh yeah, because she's trying to participate. I guess Michelle.
YouTube. Yeah.
Participate in too many events.
I did that. I definitely did that.
I still do that, and I've been here 4 years, and I feel bad. Like I've really got to make an effort in 2026. Like, I just can't do everything.
No, you can't. It's the thing is, what I've tried to kind of justify to myself now that I don't is that actually there is always, like, if it's a book, there's sometimes there's a read along going on or a group read, and you're like, oh, I want to join everybody. But there are always people wanting to read with you. If you decide later on that you've got more time to do that, then just put a call out and people will do it. So that's why there's always some event going on. There's always something going on. So you're not going to miss out completely if you give yourself a break.
As long as you participate, I'm saying participate in one event at least a month. I think just so you get your communication with all the booktubers out there, and it'll switch around to which ones you talk to each month. It's okay. So Michelle says, Alan, we have to pick your next movie.
Oh yeah, the Vincent Price. Okay.
So here's
let's go downtown and vlog. One of the prompts for October is to go to a haunted place in your city. So you haven't been really putting on any videos about October, Greg, have you?
Because I've just read Mask of the Red Death and Fall of House of Usher. So I don't. Well, I've read Fall of the House of Usher many times before. Right. And mostly because for my in-person book group, we're reading What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher.
Oh, I love T. Kingfisher. I've not read that one, but
apparently this one is sort of a retelling. of the fall of the House of Usher, or some sort of parallel. So I convinced my book group of mostly older ladies to read a horror novel. but the thing is, T. Kingfisher really isn't horror. She's more spooky ghost and
But I think it's. But I read them. Have you read Hollow Places?
I've never read her before.
So Hollow Places, because I've read a couple of T. Kingfisher books. I've read Hollow Places and A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. And A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking is great, hilarious fantasy, like cozy fantasy. But I say it's not completely cozy. There are some, things in it. But Hollow Places started out, I was thinking, this is great. It's really delightful. And I was chatting with Gareth and Dave about it last week, I'm sure, and Greg actually, and we were chatting, and I said, "Oh yeah, it starts off like this really lovely read, and this is cozy, and then it just gets very disturbing. It gets really unsettling quite quickly, and it reminded me of in terms of the level of unsettling images in it. Have you ever read Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation?
I read the first two of the series. Yeah, I wanted to finish it, but
I only read the first book because it was so disturbing. I found it really unsettling, and it kind of T. Kingfisher. So I was thinking, this is not like A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking at all. This is really quite disturbing. But it started off like this really nice, like kind of cozy kind of way, but got quite disturbing quite quickly.
Okay, so Fred has a question. Jack, is Halloween starting to become popularized where you are in the UK? Did you grow up celebrating any fall harvest festivals?
Halloween's been popular here in the UK since I was young now. So it gets more and more so. Like people, it's very, very popular. But my mum remembers Halloween being a thing when she was a kid in Ireland. It's like the Irish did sort of have celebrations around Halloween. And I wonder if and I always thought it was a very American thing, but she said no. When in Ireland there was there's these celebrations when she remembers when she was young, and I did wonder if that's how it got exported. I don't know how it got exported to the States or where it came from in the States.
I don't know.
Jack-o'-lanterns, I thought.
The harvest stuff over here in the UK, it's a big thing, and also I'm living in the countryside now, so there's a lot of stuff going on. But we always have schools over here, and as a primary school teacher for many years, and when I was at school, we used to always have harvest festival in school, and everyone would bring in food and donate food for the food bank, and that is a thing that all schools do here in the UK. It's a big thing, harvest festival over here. But yeah, and now I'm in the countryside. It's quite nice as well because I'm seeing them actually like getting everything in and the change in the fields and everything else.
Well, curious, when I was in high school, we had two sisters who came over from somewhere in England, a couple years earlier, like 10 years earlier. So they would have been, 5 or 6. And they did not know you're telling us how they came and did not know what Halloween was.
Oh, so I bet it was a big thing that when they got to it, because I feel like America, to me, Halloween to me is like a quintessentially American holiday. That the 2 times I've been to the States have been in October, and it's been just. I feel like it's like a really kind of. I feel quite magical about it all because it's. We have Halloween over here, not to the extent you have it in America. Like we they have trick-or-treaters knocking on the door, they put pumpkins outside, we do it. But in America, it's like another level of celebrate. Like
there are some people who put these huge statues in their yard. I mean, they have probably a couple $1,000
right in my neighborhood
of Halloween decorations, and I'm going, you're dedicated. No, these are not blow up. These are like
okay.
These are like expensive plastic statues.
It's a great. If you go, I'd recommend to anyone if they're going to America, go around that time because it's unlike you won't get anything like that in Europe or in the UK to that extent. And I think there's such an American holiday, like in my mind. And went to New York the first time I went over there, and it was in Central Park, and they had all these like this big thing of pumpkins just everywhere. Like, and then when I was in 2019, I was in New England, and I was we were in Boston, and then we were in Salem, and we were in Salem the night before Halloween, the day before Halloween, and yeah, it's just it's pretty amazing actually. Yeah, I find it's a great time of year to go to America.
Did you dress up?
No, I didn't. In fact, I was only there the day before, and then I was going home. Then, like, was it the next day or the day? I was there 2 days before Halloween. I went home the day before Halloween. But Salem, I remember we were chatting to some of there was like a little bit where there were some art people who make their own pottery and stuff like that. They were selling it. In fact, I've got actually it's over here. Where is it? I usually have it out. It's up here. Look, I've got this in Salem. Yeah. So I got that. That was from Salem, and we were chatting to people who were making all the things. This was my little like keepsake, and they said that Halloween is horrendous in Salem. Like it is.
Well, I just point out, Michelle says Salem at Halloween is usually over the top.
Yeah, they said it was really awful because we were there. So it was 2 days before, because I went home on the 30th, and they literally the people that lived there were like, yeah, it's not pleasant for the people that live there either, like because they get this influx of people, and it's just
of revelers.
Yes, yeah.
So Pat says the third book in the T. Kingfisher series has just come out last week. What Stalks the Deep? Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I mean, I've heard so many good things about T. Kingfisher that I'm finally very happy to get started. There's a book by Irish author Sophie White called Where I End. I'd recommend it if you like dark, disturbing reads. Hold on.
I'm not good with dark, disturbing reads these days. That's why I feel like that. I used to love it when I was younger, but now I get a bit like, it's creeping me out.
Where I End. Hold on. I'm gonna have to mark that down.
Where I End.
Where I End by Sophie White. A story of tragedy, truth, and rebellious hope. I guess it's nonfiction. Okay. Well, I'm going to add it to my list of possibilities. All right. There we go. So Carrie says yes. Sam Hain in Ireland.
Exported from Ireland.
Exported from Ireland. Okay.
Yeah, my mum was like, no, it's an Irish thing. I was like, oh, okay.
Samhain.
Yeah.
So another question for Jack. What is your favorite horror novel and horror movie?
Oh, see, that's a hard one. No, I try. The older I've got, the less, the more disturbed I am by horror. I've become a real baby. When I was younger, I was a huge Stephen King fan. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I think go through these, and I still like Stephen King, but read him less these days. But so when I was younger, my favorite Stephen King book was It. It was I loved it. I loved that book.
March.
Yeah, and I find it. I don't know the last time I read it, but I read it loads when I was younger. It's one of those books that you and your friends read and everyone passes around. It's like, oh my gosh, like 15, and I thought it was amazing. And but yeah, so in terms of horror, I think I like I've basically recently, I don't think it counts as horror, but I really liked Shirley Jackson recently. I read We've Always Lived in the Castle, and so I've got I love that, and I don't think it counts as horror really. Does it count as horror? I don't know, but I love it because I found her writing amazing, and I've never read Shirley Jackson before, and so I've got The Haunting of Hill House over there to read.
That's a good one,
but I'm going to have to read it during the day because you've
never read Shirley Jackson.
So I hadn't read Shirley Jackson before.
Have you ever read the short story "A Good Man Is Hard to Find"?
No, I'll have to do this.
No, it's not really a horror story, even though it involves a psychopath.
Right.
But it is such a fantastic story.
Okay, I'll have to do it because I do think Shirley Jackson's one of those authors who I'm just going to love everything, everything she's written. So I really do need to get to that, and I want to get it particularly at this time of year because I feel like this time of year is very much the spooky gothic season, isn't it? It's just I like it as seasonal reading.
The Lottery is good by her.
That is Shirley.
That's not Jackson.
No, I'm sorry. Flannery O'Connor is a good man. It's hard to find.
Right. I was wondering where you're going with that.
I'm sorry. Flannery O'Connor is the good man. It's hard to find. Shirley Jackson is The Lottery, but still, The Lottery is a great short story. So Michelle says, "Has anyone read House of Leaves?"
Oh yes, I've read House of Leaves. I've got it over there.
I DNF'd that.
A lot of people do. I stuck with it because it was a buddy read, and. Yeah, I think it's overhyped. I have to say, I think it's very overhyped.
Well, what happened to me? I was in a reading group with like 12 people, really smart. Simon Fraser or something. He used to be on. He's a super smart. And some other woman, but we're getting to the part. I was working with too many books at the same time, which is one of the problems. But then they said, if you mark out all his spelling mistakes, you're going to get a secret code. And I'm a terrible speller. Right. I don't. And I said, "Oh, well, I'm not. If you're that anal, you're looking for spelling mistakes. I'm just not into it." Now, one of the things is like there's a list of names in a sidebar. Just one name. And then then there's something in the middle of one of them that just does not fit. It's like not a name. And then it goes about more names. It's like, why are you making me read all these names to find this one little thing that's out of place?
Yeah, it was very gimmicky.
It was.
Very gimmicky. And I kind of, when I started it, I had quite high hopes for it and I was quite into the certain parts of it, but it's like a book within a book within a book within the layers, and some of the layers were just really dull.
Yeah, for people who love to read a book and take notes and say this means this on this page, and I'm going like, okay, I'm beyond that stage of life. I don't need to do that anymore.
And I apologize to all you James Joyce fans out there, but this is why I don't read James Joyce.
We did Alan and I did James Joyce. No, was it 2 years ago? No, it was last year.
Oh yeah, we did Ready Ulysses.
And my theory of reading James Joyce is I got my copy in front of me, got my audio book in the ear just so I can follow it, and then just listen to it.
Just let it flow over you.
And just say, I'm going to miss stuff. And I know I miss stuff. I could recognize his brilliance, but I don't want to stop and analyze and say, this is what Joyce really intended me to know.
You see, and that's also because I don't think I can read something and let it flow over me in that way and not want to know. And I read A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, and I knew once I'd finished that I was like, I cannot read Ulysses. It's just not.
I always say, like, skip over Portrait, just double yours, because some of the same characters who reappeared in Ulysses.
Yeah.
I just like, it's not hard stuff, but like the things like the Man in the Mac who reappears throughout. I like that. Or you can watch a cloud go by, or Bloom's Walk Through Dublin equals upside down question mark. Little tidbits I enjoy, but
I think it's probably very rewarding for people.
If you're that kind of reader, it's got a lot of meat for you to pull off the bones.
But I've been reading it since like 1984. My grandmother bought me my first copy of it. I don't have it still, but I have a.
Well, Jack, we've been at this an hour and 2 minutes, and my voice is kind of hoarse.
I've got to get out for work early in the morning.
Yeah, you should raise your hand and say, "I go to work." So
yeah.
So but Jack, it's been lovely to chat to you.
I like having you come. You can drop by another time in 2020.
Great. Yeah,
I'll
will
tap you
do.
again. Thanks to everyone in the chat room.
Yes, it's been lovely chatting to everyone.
It has been.
Mm.
And let me see if there's any last comments that I'm missing. And here's Michelle says, is the spelling thing error? I don't know. I quit the group. Maybe it's not a real thing. Some people just say it was a publisher putting in spelling mistakes or not proofreading enough. So I don't know.
I've heard you tell that story though.
Yeah. Well, it's what made me quit.
Right.
True or not?
I
like to imagine there's all these people who think it means something and it's just some typos.
That's a monkey.
Yeah. Okay. So just people saying hi. All right.
That's why I'll never read Infinite Jest, or never say never, but I'd rather go back to Finnegan's Wake, than sift through. I feel like, it's like watching a tennis game.
And I don't understand tennis, so part of the books are just like
right. Tennis. The end notes, you got to flip back like watching a tennis game.
So, okay, well, thank you, Pat, for reminding people to hit the like button. And I'm going to end on that positive note. So thanks again, Jack. Thanks again, chat room. Come and join us again. We're off next week, the 20th. We'll come back on the 27th. Have a great night.
Bye, everyone.